What's going on YouTube? Hey, I'm just doing some quick arrow cutting, some DIY arrow cutting. I'm gonna basically make some new Easton axis for my compound bow. They're gonna look just like that when they're done. Excuse me, that beer's starting to make me burp. So yeah, I'm cutting the same arrows. I got new shafts in the mail. These I actually have to cut both ends. This is the first time that I've had to do this. You can see this is one of my bare arrows with no nock, no field tip. And you can see the difference. This one's got a nock in it, but if I hold it right there, you can see the difference, how much higher up the label is. Not that big of a deal. I'd rather them be uniform. But out of two batches of bare shafts that I've ever bought for Easton Axis arrows, this is the first time I've actually had to lob it off of both ends. So maybe I got a bad batch, I'm not sure. But no big deal. I am going to take an inch off the back end and then the rest off of the front. So real quick, I want to show you how I do arrow cutting at my house. I made this jig a couple years ago, and it's actually really simple to make. I just had it here. Let me zoom out a little bit here so it's easier to see. There we go. I just had extra stuff laying around, and I got tired of having arrows cut at archery shops. You typically go in there, you buy bare shafts. They want to charge you like, well, it depends. I mean, I think if you spend like on certain shops, if you spend a certain amount of money on a dozen arrows, they'll either cut them for free, or if you try and save money on the back end like I do, I get a dozen Easton shafts for these Axis 5mm shafts. I get them for about I think they're about 115 from the seller that I purchased them off of eBay for. So not bad at all. It's definitely cost effective, but if I took it to a shop, they're going to want $1 a shaft or $1.50 a shaft or whatever it is. And a lot of times they get so backed up with, bow maintenance and arrow cutting and all this kind of stuff that they actually make you wait. You got to drop your arrows off. You got to wait. And hey, shit, man, I want to get these fucking things cut and I want to be shooting my bow. I don't want to be waiting around. So I built a jig. It's very simple. I just had some 3/4 inch cabinet grade plywood laying around, so I went ahead and you can see it's nothing spectacular. I mean, I got some ugly stuff, but basically what I did was I started with the length that I wanted. I got one of these little yardsticks at Harbor Freight, these metal yardsticks, and I took my router and I routed it in there and glued it in. Excuse me, that beer's really making me burp. And then what I did is I made a strap system. I made a strap system to hold my Dremel down, and then I threw 4 screws in here, and it holds my Dremel. When this thing's on full power, it doesn't move at all. And you can see I basically made a track system on 2 sides. So right here for my Easton, I got dust right here, but for my Easton 5mm, when the nock is off and it's resting on this dowel, my measurement comes out to, I believe I got it written down, 29 5/8. And it will hit 29 5/8 every single time. If I cut arrows for my wife's bow, or if I cut arrows for my kid's bow, what I can do, which is pretty badass, is and here, let me just show you as an example for this. This is a different length arrow for a different bow, but not an Easton Axis. But basically, this is a standard, this is a gold tip hunter. I think these are 6mm shafts. So the 6mm shafts fit in here perfectly, but the 5mm do not. And obviously I got a field tip on an insert, but basically what this arrow is going to do is it's going to sit where these skateboard bearings are. So basically you would, on a full shaft, you would stick it up on the rail, and then, it doesn't have to be a precise measurement. You would just kind of rest it into the wheel while the Dremel's on. You'd cut that tip off, and then once it's short enough, you can get that shaft into that dowel once you have your measurement set, and then you go through, and it works so good, guys. I mean, I've seen these arrow saws. They sell for $200, $300, $400, $500 or whatever they are, and dude, I spent probably about 2 hours putting this thing together, and I've cut 6, 7, 8 dozen arrows over the last 4 years. I actually more than that. Actually, I helped a couple buddies cut some arrows also. So it's great. It's worked really well. But what's really cool about it is its adjustability. So if I need to cut like, a really short arrow, like for my, I got a 7-year-old. He's got like a really small little bow, and we'll cut like my old arrows for him. So what I can do is I can pop these two things loose right here, and they'll slide in, so that way, I can get a little bit closer, so that way it's a little bit better supported, and then basically loosen these wing nuts here, and this whole unit will slide this way. And as long as the shaft is buried on that dowel, this is an accurate measurement on here. So by looking over the blade, whatever the blade matches up with on whatever number, that's its true cut, which is pretty great. It works very well. I know it doesn't look the best. This started out as kind of a DIY arrow spinner, and it worked well when I first built it, but after a couple dozen arrows, the skateboard bearings just weren't really working out. And, about 4 years ago, I think the Pine Ridge archery spinner was about the only spinner on the market at that time. Since then, there's many out there now. I got this one on Amazon. I don't even know what brand it is. I don't know, dude. Lean Pro, something like that. It was like $30, and then it's got this really cool attachment on it that has a little sticky sandpaper guys that you can throw on there, so then you can just square it up after you spin your shafts and get them cut. It's pretty legit. It works very well. But yeah, I just wanted to basically show this off real fast, because you can build your own legit arrow cutting jig for not a lot of money. I mean, you go to any skateboard shop, you can get, a little pack of bearings for $7-8 or something like that. I think the yardstick at Harbor Freight, it was a few bucks, I can't remember. And then just miscellaneous hardware, and just use whatever wood you got laying around. And it works extremely well. But you know what? I just got done cutting one shaft, so this is my full length now. And as I got done with it, I said, you know what? I haven't done this in a while, so I figured I'd go ahead and share this. So if you're thinking about buying an arrow saw, you really don't need to. As long as you have a little bit of know-how, you can make something like this very, very easily, and it's way more cost effective. I will use this over any arrow saw at an archery shop any day, because at the end of the day, my arrows always come out perfect. And I mean, it really, I don't have to wait, I don't have to pay the money, and I don't have to wait. I just get them shipped to my house, I cut them, and they're perfect every time. And when I'm done putting this dozen together, they're going to be the same exact dimensions as these ones that I have left over. So they're going to be the same exact length no matter what. So why go to an archery shop, guys? Build your own arrow jig, cut your own arrows. Have a good day.